This is the Eufy S1 Pro, and it has a new trick up its sleeve. Up until now, most robot vacuums that mop have either a spinning or vibrating mop pad. And that's good for getting floors clean that don't have spills or anything on it like that. You really don't want to run that type of robot mop over a spill because it'll kind of just spread around whatever the spill is, because the robot's going back to the base to clean that mop pad and then going back out to mop. But what Eufy has done with this S1 Pro is it has introduced spinning mop brush. And you might think, okay, cool, whatever. Now it's just a new form of mop. But what it's doing in addition to that is that it is actively cleaning that mop brush as it's mopping. It's not going back to the base solely to clean. It is cleaning while it's mopping. And that really makes a huge difference because this thing can now go over spills because it's gonna lift up that liquid and it's gonna clean itself into its dirty bin. And that's certainly not all that makes this robot vacuum unique. Most vacuums these days also use LiDAR, and this one's no exception, but they mount the LiDAR spinning puck on top. This one is much more sleek and low profile and has the LiDAR on the front of the unit. And that leads me to the second most impressive thing about this robot. The first being the mopping ability is just insane. And the second one is that this robot vacuum hardly bumps into anything. By far, this robot vacuum has the least number of collisions of any robot vacuum I've ever tested, and I've been waging a war on pet hair in our home for the better part of 10 years with robot vacuums. Now, I'm not entirely sure what makes this one so much better than everything else on the market. It does have that LiDAR on the front, like I said, and it has an RGB camera, but I think it just has superior algorithms and it does a great job not hitting anything. It does have collisions every now and then, but it does not have nearly as many as others on the market. So definitely keep that in mind if you have really delicate furniture or just things that you do not want a robot vacuum to bump into. This one really has a low level of collisions. Now you might be thinking, okay, this thing is great at low collisions and it mops really well, but what about carpets? What about rugs? Things like that. So a couple things. First is that it's going to lift that roller mop up. So it's not going to drag that roller mop across any carpets or any rugs. It does have 4 levels of suction, with the maximum being that 8,000 pascals. It has a quiet, standard, turbo, and max, so you can have it set to any one of those, with quiet obviously being the quietest. The other thing that this robot vacuum will do, which is more standard these days, is that when it detects carpet or a rug, it will kick up that suction power to make sure it gets that rug nice and clean. Now, it will get loud when it does that, as will every robot vacuum, and you can turn that setting off in the app if you prefer. But when it's set to quiet, this thing really is very quiet. Now, I am not a channel where I measure out 274 grains of sand and then I run all these different robots over it and see how many they picked up. I'm just a regular guy who enjoys tech and is trying to keep my home clean. And I can say with confidence that this robot vacuum does an excellent job keeping my floors clean, picking up all the dirt, keeping the paw prints off the floor, and most importantly, picking up all of the dog hair that are produced by my 2 dogs. It seems that most robot vacuums on the market these days are circular, and this one is kind of bucking that trend a little bit with its more square design. Really helps it get into corners well due to its shape and the fact that it has 2 side brushes. The base also brings some welcome changes to the market of robot vacuums with its sleek, compact, and visually pleasing design. But don't let the looks fool you. This base has everything we've come to expect from cutting-edge, state-of-the-art robot vacuum bases. The base will empty the robot's dustbin into a bag that can hold days to weeks worth of debris. It can add clean water to the robot and empty the dirty water. It'll also clean the mop. So it's doing that itself as it cleans, and also when it goes back to the base, it'll do a deep clean of that mop. It also does something that I've never seen before, and it delivers ozone to the clean water to further disinfect it. I think that's pretty neat. I've never seen that before. And it'll automatically add detergent to the water as needed. And maybe my favorite part is that this base actually has a screen to tell you what the robot is doing, and you can use that to start the robot. These days, we rely so heavily on our phones and apps, and don't get me wrong, this one also has an app that is exceptional, But you can just use the base if you want to kind of figure out what's going on and to start a cleaning. And the last thing that base is going to do is that it's going to dry the mop. Like most robot vacuums these days, it blows hot air at it to get it nice and dry so you don't have any issues with smells or anything like that. The app is really on par with the best in the industry, and it's what we've come to expect from eufy. It does quick mapping, which is excellent. You can break the rooms up into however many rooms you want, join them together, do schedules based on rooms. You can either have it vacuum only or vacuum and mop. And one of the best features that I think really sets eufy apart that I haven't yet seen with other brands is that you can tell the robot vacuum when to go back and empty itself. That may not sound like a big deal, but what can happen with some other robot vacuums is that if you have a lot of pet hair, if you've missed a couple days or something like that, that bin will get full and that robot vacuum is just gonna press on trying to vacuum. On the eufys, what you can do is set, hey, after a certain number of square feet, go back and empty the dustbin because I know I have a lot of dog hair and I don't want that bin to get full. So you can set in the app, hey, after this many square feet, go back, make sure you empty the dustbin so that we're constantly cleaning and we're not getting that bin full of hair so that it's not picking up anything new as it continues to vacuum. At the end of the day, what does all this mean to you? What do you care if the obstacle avoidance system is called the 3D Matrix Eye, or that the base station is called the 10-in-1 Uniclean station? You want to know if this is a good robot vacuum and value for your hard-earned money. And let me shoot you straight here. This isn't Vacuum Wars. This isn't the hookup. I'm not comparing a bunch of different ones, doing hours of testing. I'm just doing a real-world test, deploying it in my home. I've had plenty of robot vacuums before. I have this one now. I have dogs. I have a very dirty home, and this vacuum does an exceptional job, especially with the mopping, keeping the floors free of dog hair and scrubbing and getting those paw prints up off of the floors. Now, one major caveat here, and I think it's obvious from most reviews like this, is that this is a short-term test. I've only been testing this thing for a month. And with the amount of money that you're gonna spend, definitely think about the long-term ramifications of having this. I will do updates in short form saying, hey, this is how it's done 6 months in, a year in, which I try to do with all of my robot vacuums. But keep in mind, I've only been using this for 1 month, but so far so good. I think eufy is an established brand, so I would trust that their warranty will hold up well and that they will stand behind their products as they have done historically. I expect them to continue doing that. But I do want you to know that it's not like I've had this thing for 6 months or a year. It's only been a month of use and it's done an exceptional job, especially with the mopping. I watched a lot of reviews before actually getting this unit, and one of the things I saw a lot of was people putting things on the ground like tomato paste or something like that and then having the vacuum impressively mop it up, which it can do. But this vacuum either vacuums or vacuums and mops. So if you go over something like that, like tomato paste, it's going to make a mess. It got it all in the bin, it covered the bottom of the vacuum, and yes, it got the floor clean, but I then had to spend 10 minutes cleaning the vacuum itself. So I do not recommend this for cleaning up spills like that. I hope this video helps you if you're in the market for a robot vacuum. I think the eufy S1 Pro is an exceptional option. I'll have links and everything down in the description that you can go ahead and check out if you're interested in getting one. Thank you so much for taking the time to actually watch this video. I'm so appreciative that you would stop by and spend your time here on this channel. As always, don't forget to thumbs me up, and we will see you next time.